And I did say earlier that the non-executive directors of the bank, according to the corporate governance guidelines stipulated by central bank, do not allow non-executive directors to get involved in the running of the bank on a daily basis. The board relies on the expertise of the executive management led by the group MD, the external auditor, and the regulator. Conspiracy to blindside the board by producing reports that were doctored and falsified. And this continued to happen over the last 12 or 13 years. Regarding the investigations around the directors, the simple response is, if there is any evidence to prove that any of the directors or shareholders are responsible for the fraud that has been undertaken with this bank, we are willing to take responsibility for that. Insofar as the DTB and KCB, I think that was one of the earlier questions. As a group of shareholders and the board, we are unaware as to what the KDIC and the Central Bank of Kenya has in its plan for the bank moving forward. We have not been consulted on the actions that they took with regard to the disbursement of these funds through Diamond Trust and KCB. In fact, we are quite concerned that in many ways this is disenfranchising our institution moving forward. Because it does appear that all our data relating to our customers has been forwarded to these two institutions. And we are concerned about this, but as I said earlier, we were not consulted and are not aware of what the long-term deeper relationship that the receiver manager has with these two institutions in terms of the plan. I think the first question was, correct me if I'm wrong, is it the issue of the 10 billion? Was that, can you please repeat that question? First, let me reiterate to you that, as you heard in the chairman's statement, that any injection of capital that the shareholders will inject is based on a voluntary injection. Okay, the shareholders or directors are in no way obliged to invest this capital. But the reason we want to be engaged in this process is, as the chairman alluded to earlier, is to protect the institution and to protect the depositors, the bondholders, and all the other stakeholders. And this is the reason why the shareholders and their associates are willing to consider putting this capital. But this capital can only be injected, based on the true state of affairs of the bank, the true state of affairs, financial affairs of the bank. And this has not been established to date. And despite several requests, both verbal and in writing, to the Central Bank of Kenya, requesting them to let us have access to establish the state of affairs of the bank. So we are willing, as we have been since the time of the receivership, to invest money in this institution, provided there is a framework and provided we know the exact state of financial affairs of the institution.
Thank you, Anwar. Thank you. I know you're pressed for time. If you have maybe 2 minutes or 3, you can probably get to with the journalist. But we'll have it like that for now. At the exit, we'll give you the chairman's statement, we'll give you a press release, and we'll give you an 8 memo that outlines the events today. If you need any additional background, feel free to speak to me or Diana at the door.